Marvel Rivals is in the news today because its player count has drastically dropped by 85% according to Forbes in the last 10 months, which has a lot of people concerned about the game's health and its longevity. Epic is suing two Fortnite map creators for having bots in the map to fake numbers and try to get to the top of the map listing. My name is the Tech Jelly. Please remember to like and subscribe. 95% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button and let's get right into the news. Marvel Rivals has lost 85% of its player base on Steam, according to Forbes, which is a drastic reduction of players for a live service game, a genre of game that really needs consistent engagement to keep the game running smoothly and the lights on at the studio. On Steam charts, it has peaked on a concurrent of 98,000 players, which Forbes says is healthy, but it's on a downwards trajectory, which of course is a bad thing for Marvel Rivals. It being a live service game, a lot of people look at those numbers and say the game's dying or the game is dead. But when I see those numbers, I personally see a game not necessarily dying, but the hype has died down and now the core player base is now playing the game. The people that were following the hype of Marvel Rivals have now left or is waiting for the next big drop, like a new season or a new skin or a new character or something like that. While the core player base is playing the game. They're playing ranked, they're playing casual, they're playing quick play, they're playing whatever game mode they want to play, but they're playing Marvel Rivals because they enjoy Marvel Rivals. I would say that this is somewhat similar to other games in the genre, but like not as drastic, simply because the fact that Marvel Rivals does have Marvel to lean on as well. So like having a 98,000 concurrent player base on daily, I think is amazing for this style of game, especially a 6v6 multiplayer game, because not a lot of games can crack that niche other than Overwatch. And like in terms of player base on PC, on Steam, it's crushing Overwatch, but Overwatch's major player base is generally on Battle.net, not Steam. And then we're not even counting the console numbers on either side. So I do feel like that it's saying that it's a dead game or it's lost tons of its players. While technically losing player base is true, I think those are most of the people that have downloaded the game because of the hype of Marvel Rivals and the hatred of Overwatch 2. For instance, the Forbes article specifically compares Marvel Rivals to Apex Legends, which I think personally is a really bad comparison because one, they're very different games, so they hit a different audience, and two, the numbers that they are quoting, like the 117,000 players to 640,000 players of a peak over the same time period for Apex Legends, is during 2021. So it's during the pandemic and during the COVID lockdown stuff for a lot of people. So a lot of people were just literally indoors and couldn't do anything else. And it's been proven pretty much across the video game industry. Once that lockdown stopped, people stopped playing as much video games and just moved on with their lives. There are some people that still play video games now that never would have played video games because of that lockdown. But for the most part, most people aren't nearly playing as much, of course, because they have things to do. They have a job, they have things, social outings, they have stuff instead of just video games, which for a lot of people was just the only thing they could do, or watch tons of TVs and shows and stuff. And then we are going to the fact that these numbers are daily active players, or a peak concurrent for over a 24-hour long period, not just players in general. So it could be that there is actually hundreds of thousands of players playing daily. It's just not all at the same time, which I do feel like is a good distinction to have, because this is just peak concurrent daily active players, not active players daily. It's just concurrent, so the highest concurrent, not actual active players daily. Like if we were talking about players, monthly player statistics or something like that, I think that would be a little bit easier, because over a course of a month, you can have better data, in my opinion. Now, to be fair, the daily active concurrent players is going down, but that's also because I feel like I said, the hype is going down. So like everything is on a downward trajectory technically, but I think that's once again because of the hype players. I think once you get the core base, and if the core player base of Marvel Rivals is 60 to 100,000 players, that is a really good core base. If you're even, and that's just looking at PC alone, Steam PC alone, because they have their own launcher and it's on console. So I don't think I'm ever worried about Marvel Rivals personally. I think it can do very well on itself, and compared to other games in its same genre like Overwatch 2, which is the only one that's still surviving, at least on Steam PC, it's beating them pretty handily. I don't know overall, but it definitely feels like it's beating them. And I feel like broadening the scope to things like the BR games and stuff like that, I think it's doing fine comparatively to them, especially considering the genre that they are in. When Marvel Rivals is pretty much the only game that survived, because there was that Gundam one that shut down, obviously Concord shut down, and like a couple others as well that I don't even remember the names of. So like only Overwatch and Marvel Rivals have survived. So I think it is a little disingenuous to say that Marvel Rivals has lost 85% of the player base. While technically true, it still has a really good player base. Like you would say, oh, 85% of the player base has left. You would think it's like, oh, only a couple thousand are playing now. No, almost 100,000 daily, concurrently, but definitely more than 100,000 every day, just not concurrently. So I feel like those numbers are a little skewed, and that's why looking at Steam charts is really not the way to go for popularity, especially at longevity, I feel like. And I feel like it's a flaw that we all as gamers look at player counts and stuff like that, because it's not about the concurrent player count, it's about the daily player base, not the active currently playing right now. Like if you're active, if you only ever have concurrently 1,000 players, but on a daily you get 20,000 players playing every day, that's two very different numbers. So I feel like if we were looking at that, it'd make much more sense, but we're not. It's just the concurrent active players at one time. So I think Marvel Rivals is going to be totally fine. But that is just my opinion. I'd love to know your opinion down in the comments down below. Let me know if you are currently playing Marvel Rivals as well, if you feel like the game is dead or dying, or how the game is in a vacuum, at least for the player base. I personally haven't played it in a while. I haven't been thinking about playing it again, but for me, that type of game is I'll play it maybe one day again, but I'm kind of over that style of game for now, at least. I played a lot of Overwatch when Overwatch 1 was there, and I played Marvel Rivals on launch and a little bit after it, and season 1 and 2 and 3. And I think, or I guess they were half seasons technically, but you know what I mean. And I think I'm done for now, but I'll definitely come back to it at some point. Moving on to Epic Games and their now current lawsuit against two Fortnite players that are a part of the UEFN program, or the Unreal Editor for Fortnite. And the lawsuit is about their bot accounts on their maps trying to push up their popularity. And on their official Fortnite creators Twitter account, they have said, "We are taking legal action against two UEFN developers who use bots to inflate their player accounts. We are also taking down their islands, and they are banned from Fortnite. Manipulating player engagement breaks our rules and will not be tolerated." Which, for Epic, makes total sense, because for those who don't know, the Fortnite editor, the Unreal Editor for Fortnite is an actual program that pays out real money for the top creators. And if you're in those top creators, overall, you can make millions of dollars throughout the entire thing. I don't think you individually make millions, but millions have been paid out already. So tens of thousands of dollars personally, maybe, for you being the top creator if your map is super popular. So it makes sense why they want to crack down on this. And they are filing the lawsuit in Michigan against these two people, with the specific details of 20,000 fake accounts from December 2024 to February 2025. And they are being accused of breach of contract, copyright infringement, and fraud. Now, I don't necessarily know what they mean. Like, obviously I know what copyright infringement and fraud is, but I don't know necessarily how that implies that they broke that or did that, because in the Fortnite, or the Unreal Editor for Fortnite, they're not claiming they own these things. So I don't know how that really affects it. And unfortunately, while reading the lawsuit, it's a lawsuit, and I unfortunately can't understand all the law terms, but from what I can tell, I can totally understand the permaban from the Fortnite servers and the breach of contract, because you do have to sign a specific contract to be a Fortnite creator. So that makes sense. The copyright infringement and fraud, I'm going to have to leave to the lawyers to explain that to me, because I don't necessarily how it really applies here, but I trust that the Epic Games lawyers know what they're doing. because this is a really big deal for them. It seems a little extreme outside looking in because, you know, they made custom maps and now you're suing them and taking them to court. But with the context of millions of dollars have paid out for these maps, they have 20,000 bot accounts trying to make it so their maps are more popular so people will actually play them so they can get those good payouts. And it is obviously a blatant break of their contract, of their player base. So it makes sense. And they also are most likely making them a example for the community to say, hey, this is not okay. Like using one or two bots for a specific reason for a map, I'm sure is fine. Like AI in maps are totally fine. But 20,000 fake players is a different case than having a couple AI opponents in a map where that doesn't be put towards the player count, I assume. So having 20,000 fake players makes a lot more sense than, you know, having some AI in a map. So while it does look extreme with the whole money behind it, their contract, and the fact that Fortnite is so popular, so they want to make sure they stamp this out as soon as possible, it makes sense for them to go this ham against these two people. Let me know what you guys think about in the comments down below. What you guys think, if this is too ham or too crazy or too immediate. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Thank you for watching today's video. I really appreciate it, you all watching this video. If you would like more videos like this, I post them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you would like to support me directly, please go over to my Patreon at patreon.com/thetechnojelly. You get access to polls and a once-a-month live stream for members. If you would like to, you also get put into these credits, all of these nice people. Thank you for becoming a member on that Patreon. If you would like to follow me on other platforms, I also have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads, all at the Technojelly. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye, everyone.